Alright, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tiko Ezasu, aka Izzo. Izzo with 3Z's because they still sleep, but we finna wake them up soon. You already know the vibes. Today we coming back with the What If Himawari Was the MC of Boruto Part 2. If you didn't see Part 1, it's the last video posted on my channel, literally. And it will also be in a playlist on my channel called Himawari. But yeah, other than that, it's not too much to discuss, so I guess let's get into it. We pick up on Himawari's 5th birthday, but instead of celebrating how every other 5-year-old would, Himawari asked for her uncle Sasuke to train her all day, and at the end of the day, she wanted to have a sparring match. The Prodigies versus the Shadow Hokage. Sasuke agrees to this as he sees an opportunity to see how far Himawari has come and to pinpoint exactly what she needs to work on. She has been training with Hiyashi Hyuga in the Gentle Fist ever since she unlocked her Byakugan at the age of 3. Because of this, Sasuke felt no need to work on her taijutsu. She was a natural at all things inherent to the Hyuga, including Gentle Fist and rotation. So instead, he decides to get a head start on her training with the Kyuubi chakra. He takes Himawari to the middle of the forest before she quickly realizes they are surrounded by nearly 300 Chunin. Sasuke then explains to her that she has the skill set to beat most of these ninja multiple times over, but continues to say that she does not have the volume of chakra to deal with this number of enemies at one time. He then hands her a scroll with 2 jutsu on it and says that throughout the course of the day, he wants her to not only defeat the other shinobi, but also learn one of the 2 jutsu on the scroll. He knew that by herself, she did not have enough chakra to complete this. However, he knew that Kurama did. So if she wanted to complete her mission, she would have to learn how to work with Kurama. He then says that her and the rest of the team will face off against him at 12 midnight. She has until then to complete her objective, and Sasuke before body flickering away. Himawari was not excited about this. She now had to spend her whole birthday defeating boring ninja beneath her level. She takes a look at the jutsu on the scroll and reads Rasengan on one side and Chidori on the other. A whole new determination then came over her as she noticed the army of shinobi had begun their attack. She immediately found herself surrounded by at least 20 of the shinobi. She knocks them out easily one by one, strictly with taijutsu. As she knocks down about 45 of them by shutting down their chakra points, she finds herself slowing down. She started to panic as she realized she was running out of chakra way too early. In panic, she fled deeper into the forest to buy herself time to study the jutsu on the scroll. As she read the text for both jutsu, she tried to figure out which one she would be able to learn the fastest, as she needed the new power as soon as possible in order to complete her objective. She had an affinity for lightning style jutsu, so she thought maybe the Chidori would be better suited for her. But then she thought about how she had an affinity for rotation and concluded that she would have an easier time managing the rotation of the chakra of the Rasengan than trying to move at the ultrasonic speeds required for the Chidori. She would have to master rotating her chakra in multiple directions simultaneously, increasing and decreasing the amount and density of the chakra poured into the jutsu, while also containing the chakra in a spherical shape. She began to get the hang of step 1, rotating the chakra before being hit with a long-range attack from her one blind spot. She got up, rolled up the jutsu scroll, and put it in her back pocket. Then she turned around to find the sly fox that managed to sneak up on her. However, she couldn't find anyone. She then thinks to ask Kurama if he sees them, but hesitates as she has always been scared of Kurama, thinking that she would make him angry. But she pushed past her hesitations and softly spoke, "Hey Kurama, did you see those guys that hit us just now?" Kurama chuckles before responding, "Us? I felt their chakra coming ages ago. Trust me, they hit you, not us." She responds by completely ignoring Kurama's slightly arrogant but kind of playful remark, and just asking him to point her in the right direction. "Behind you," says Kurama, as 3 of the Chunin appear behind her and pin her down. She usually would have gotten out of this quite easily, but as she struggled to get up, she realized that her chakra was slowly fading away. Kurama then explained to her that when she got hit just a minute ago, a leech latched onto her and began sucking her chakra without her noticing. "Why didn't you tell me this?" she asked in her head. "You didn't ask, you little brat," barked Kurama in response. "Well, can you give me valuable information like this from now on?" asked Himawari. Kurama responded with a smirk. "Sure, pal." Himawari pondered over that word pal in her head. She realized in that moment that the stories of the 9 tails from long ago were no longer something to worry about. She had been scared of nothing this whole time. "Well, how do I get out of this?" she asked Kurama. Kurama then gives her the smallest drop of his chakra for the first time as Himawari burst up from being pinned, sending the other shinobi flying and entering her one-tailed Kyuubi cloak form. Suddenly, she can see nearly a mile out, even through objects. She rapidly tore through at least 100 of shinobi before running off and passing out due to her body being overloaded. After about 3 hours, around 7 p.m., Kurama was finally able to wake Himawari. When she realized what happened, she got extremely upset with herself. She was disappointed in her inability to manage the Kurama's chakra. She was disappointed in her ability to manage Kurama's chakra. Kurama then tried to cheer her up, telling her how badass she was, tearing apart 100 Chunin like it was nothing. She then pulls the scroll out of her back pocket and tries to work on controlling the spin of her chakra. She gets the hang of this after a few minutes and then decides to try and pump more chakra into it. However, when she does this, she becomes unable to maintain the ball shape. She keeps at it for almost another hour before she realizes that it is now 8 p.m. and she still has 150 ninja to hunt down. However, there was still one major problem. She had used all of her chakra either fighting off Chunin or trying to create a Rasengan. She decides to try and knock the rest of the Chunin out as quickly as possible so that she can use the rest of her time and chakra trying to learn the Rasengan. She looks around in all directions but once again sees nothing, but Kurama points her in the direction where she should go. Before long, she had come up on the 155 remaining Chunin who are all armed and waiting for her to arrive. As Himawari prepares her mind to push her body through its limits, she also tries to build up the limited amount of chakra she has left. As the Chunin engage her, she realizes that she is in no shape to take them all on at once, before she quickly finds herself surrounded. She is trying to hold her own, but without any chakra, she was outnumbered. Kurama then tries to break off an even smaller piece of his chakra and fuse it with the rest of Himawari's own. She then re-enters her one-tail cloak form, but with much more control this time. She is still much more aggressive, but still has some of her reasoning about her. Kurama's chakra also strengthens the distance of her Byakugan and shrinks her blind spot. She starts to rip through the Chunin before she feels the 5-year-old body of hers beginning to fail. As she does a palm rotation to back off the multitude of shinobi in her face, she comes up with an idea. If she can easily control the rotation using her palm rotation, then what would happen if she tried to exude chakra from her whole body while doing rotation? She basically had the idea to try and fuse her palm rotation with the Rasengan to create something new and easier for her to do. As she is down to her last bit of energy before her body fails, she feels this is her best bet. She draws them all in near and then yells, 8 trigrams Rasengan, before spinning violently, releasing the rest of her chakra into a huge spiral ball surrounding her surrounding her body and having a big enough blast radius to finish off the rest of the tuning. However, after this, she also collapsed. She didn't care though. She had completed all of her objectives with 2 hours to rest before her squad would have to face off against Sasuke. Himawari then heads home to find that Hinata, Sarada, and Izasu are the only ones home. She runs upstairs to tell Sarada and Izasu what she has accomplished. Guys, you'll never believe what I pulled off today. I beat 300 Chunin, controlled some of Kurama's chakra, and I learned the Rasengan all by myself. Izasu sarcastically responds, yeah, right. Is that why you smell like sweaty gym shorts? Himawari then says, whatever. I'll prove it to you when I'm the hero of our spar against Sasuke tonight. As she says this, Sasuke walks in the room with Boruto behind him and asks, well, are you guys ready to get this over with? The 4 prodigies all get up without a word and start gearing up for the task ahead of them. Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke then takes them to an open field and holds out a bell, knowing that they would know what the objective is upon seeing the bell. He looks at them all for confirmation and yells, go. In part 2. So, look, right, guys, okay, basically this episode, I'm just kind of, getting Himawari's, backstory together. I kind of wanted to play around with her friendship with Kurama, especially considering that Kurama's not really even evil anymore, so it's kind of like she she'll have a little friend always with her, basically. But yeah, other than that, they're gonna have to do the bell test against Sasuke, and I don't know how they're gonna manage to get the bell when Sasuke can teleport, but that's for me to figure out and y'all to find out. But yeah, I'll catch y'all next time, because y'all already know it's Dreamer Gang until I die. And as for the haters, we're just gonna let them sleep. It's your boy Izzo, and I'm out.